Hey guys, it's Danielle over at DIYDanielle.com, and today is part of our 30-day gift series. We're going to be making, what are they? Do you remember what the name was that I told you? Pot holders. I couldn't remember the name either. I had to look this up because I forgot. I kept calling them hot pads in my head, which might be another word for them. But, so we got pot holders, and who do I have as a helper here? What's your name? This is Godric. And he's my little helper. So, we're going to talk about pot holders. So, today we're going to be working with something called Insulbrite, and it is a type of padding that is supposed to protect you from getting burnt, which is awesome. A lot of my pot holders have worn through, and I do not buy new kitchen supplies very often. I like to make them last. So I'm hoping to have a new one, and I'm making a couple extras for gifts. In this case, I'm not going to make your normal size pot holder. I'm actually going to make one the size of a casserole dish. So that way I have something to put my casserole dish on when I bring it out of the oven, and I want to put it on the table so we could serve ourselves from that instead of like going over to the stove to get food. It's kind of nice just to be able to put the casserole right in front of you. Okay guys, so let's talk supplies. So you are going to need some Insulbrite, which I have, which one is which? We got Insulbrite. One of these is Insulbrite. The other one is fusible fleece, and you can use cotton batten as well. You want 2 layers here, so 1 layer cotton batten or fusible fleece, and then 1 layer of your Insulbrite. I've got a piece of fabric for the back and a piece of fabric for the front. Now you can use something like a bias tape to put it together, or you could sew just without that. So I will show you how to put this together now. Okay, so for each of these that I'm making, which I'm making 3, I've got a layer of Insulbrite, I have a layer of fusible fleece, or you can use cotton batten. I also have a back fabric and a front fabric, and I tried to pick something somewhat coordinating fabrics. And we'll go on to the next step of how to sew these now. So for our next step, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be layering these exactly how we want them to be for our finished product. So we're going to lay our padding here. We're laying our front fabric face down and wrong sides up. We're going to lay our fleece and our batting, and we're going to lay our back fabric here. And what we're going to do is we're going to pin these down so that they don't move while we're quilting them. Now, as I said, I'm not a quilter, but I have a fancy machine that does quilting stuff. So I am going to be giving this a try. We have interesting results as usual. Find my bee foot here. So I'm actually using a decorative stitch. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I'm a little nervous, but we'll see. Okay, so I did a decorative stitch up each side, and it's not perfect because, of course, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's see. Okay, so there's my decorative stitch that I did up either side. I'm going to actually do some more quilting in the middle. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of doing something. Okay, so here we are. We have some quilting done, and I've got my decorative stitches. There we are. Now, the one thing that I did is I actually stitched her to the back. You may not want to do that. If you don't want to do that, and what I'm going to do with some of these other ones is I'm going to just do the quilting on the top three pieces and leave the back piece off. So that would mean this comes off. I'm just going to pick up this here.
And again, with decorative stitches, they're real pretty, but they do take a little bit extra time. You may not want to do the decorative stitch on all of these. I don't necessarily love it. I like just a nice clean line sometimes. So in this case, you'll only have your stitching will go through to this, the back of it, and then you won't see it on this when you add this at the end. Does that make sense? Okay, so for this one I finished quilting, and as you can see, I did not quilt the back with it. And for this particular one, I'm going to do the turn in top stitch method, which I think is a little bit easier if you're new to sewing. So you're going to pin right side to right side. Now I can turn this right sides out. Look how beautiful it is. Okay, now we have it right sides out, and we can actually iron this down. I'm not going to actually, because this is looking pretty good here. And you're going to want to, here, let me see if you can see this. I'm going to top stitch here. So, but first I need to turn these sides under and pin them so that you'll have a nice seam here. And it won't look wonky. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Okay. Here we are. I'm going to take some pins. I'm just turning both sides under. So pro tip here, I'm going to mention for safety, never put pins in your mouth, which I do anyways, but be careful when you put pins in your mouth, because let's say your kid does something crazy while you got a pin in your mouth and you go to yell at him, you could accidentally inhale a pin. And apparently this is a common injury that happens. Who knew? I am full of fun and gruesome facts. Okay, so we got that pinned, and I'm going to top stitch. So we're going to start a little ways down here, and you want your side that is shorter on the top, I believe. Okay guys, we're finished. I have 3 done now. 1 with turn and top stitch, and 2 with quilting, and then a back added on, and with binding. My favorite was this one. I did not quilt on the back, and I used bias tape, which means I didn't have to turn and top stitch, which is my favorite. I still, of course, had to top stitch the bias tape, but I like the end result much better. And I think this product came out the best of all 3. But of course, it was the last one I did, so of course it is the best because I've got my method down better. So again, if you are sewing these and you want to get really good, just sew 10 or 20 of them. I mean, I know that's a lot and it's a lot of fabric, but the nice thing about gift ideas is that you get lots and lots of practice making the same item over and over. You get your process down, and you can get really good at a particular sewing technique. For example, if you want to practice putting on bias tape, this is a great project to do it on. So I hope this helps, and thanks so much for following along with my gift series. There's 30 days of this altogether, so make sure not to miss any of the other days. You can subscribe below to my YouTube channel, and you can also subscribe to my email list on my blog, which is DIYDanielle.com. I'll have a supply list on there with some links to some of the supplies I use on my projects. And if you subscribe to the email list, you'll get access to all sorts of free printables, and also an email that goes out any day that I have a post. You will get a notification. Alrighty, hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.
Hey guys, it's Danielle over at DIYDanielle.com, and today we're going to be talking about how to make a, oh my gosh, I forgot the word. Why? Okay. Hot pad? I think that's what they're called. I don't know. I'm at a loss. I have no idea. Okay, you get your smile on? You get your smile on? Big smiles! Big smiles! Okay, you ready for this? Are you ready? Are you with me or against me?
I with you.
With me! Okay. Whoosh. Okay. I gotta turn this.